So we have to explain to all Chinese witchcraft historians in the Philippines about the birth of origin of Dr. Rizal. So most of the Chinese witchcraft historians are trying to divert the history of the Philippines using the uh, birth of origin of their Chinese ancestors. So when we talk about birth of origin, this is what we call patrimony. Okay, where is your motherland? Okay, so in our literature and also as well as from the view of Dr. Sirisal, from his own wisdom, he teaches us not about the travel history of Chinese blood, or he's not talking about blood infusion of Chinese ancestors to Filipina or to the Philippines. So Chinese are trying to divert the 1896 Philippine Revolution it linked as the ethnic Chinese revolution in the history of the Philippines today. If you are trying to remember what the Marcoses are speaking about Philippine independence or uh, independent foreign policy, is because he is thinking that the Philippines is a state, as independent state of Chinese ancestry. And also, if you try to remember what Jaime Marcos or Imelda Marcos is doing for Chinese culture or cultural revolution, we can call it Chinese cultural evolution because the Filipino has no trace of ancestors in China. So how can we say that the Filipino has no trace of ancestry in China, or Dr. Jose Rizal has no trace of ancestry from province of Fujian? Is that Dr. Jose Rizal is not talking uh, for Chinese ancestors? Okay, so let me explain to you about Rizal's view of Philippine history. So the line 1 and 2 of paragraph 1 in 13 is very, very important. This line 1 and 2 of paragraph 1 as well as paragraph 13. Okay, this is interlocking paragraph. Interlocking means that you cannot uh, make another explanation or different explanation of this paragraph 1 as well as paragraph 13. Okay, here he say, farewell, beloved country. Okay, which means that in paragraph 1, which country is Dr. Rizal saying his last farewell? It's nothing but only his idolized country. So he never idolized Chinese ancestors. Okay, he idolized a beloved country. He say goodbye to his beloved country. Okay, and which country is he talking about? He's not talking about Chinese country in the northwest. Oh, see, okay, he's not talking about China. See, Here is China. Okay, let me change for you the color. Okay, okay, maybe much better if we make it yellow, no? Kasi dilawan daw. Okay, so Dr. Rizal is not talking about dilawan, pulahan, at green, o verde. So let's go back to paragraph 1 and paragraph 13. Okay, so here, his country, he is talking about when he uttered his last goodbye, is only for our nation, only for the Philippines. See? So how come the Philippines become, uh, okay, how come the Philippines become human being or son of China or child of Chinese? Okay, so this means that Mr. Kiyinan, okay, when he traveled from China to the Philippines, no, he cannot marry a nation. He cannot turn Philippines as his wife. This ignorance must be removed. So this means Chinese historians are terrorizing our history. And here, Dr. Rizal is talking about beloved country, and this beloved country of Rizal, he described it as our lost Eden. Okay, the lost Eden means it's a lost motherland. Okay, it's a lost uh, enchanted land. It 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 was a lost nation of God. You see, okay, you cannot translate the Philippines as the lost Chinese. Okay, because Eden means motherland. So who in the history of the world an immigrant from China get pregnant of our motherland? Huh? Who in the Chinese ancestor get pregnant uh, and gave birth to our motherland? Okay, Eden means motherland. Motherland has no Chinese ancestor because according to Dr. Rizal, Eden has no feminine and masculine gender of human being. So which ancestor of Chinese from China is able to give birth for our home and country, or for the pearl of the sea, or for the jewel of the sea? Okay, so China is trying to manipulate the last will of Dr. Rizal. You cannot reverse the history of the Philippines or the literature of Dr. Rizal. The phrase Eden is not a blood of a Chinese. Okay, it was not the lost ancestor of China. See, you cannot translate Eden as ancestors or blood or trace of ancestry of Chinese because the phrase Eden means birth of origin. It cannot be translated into birth of arrival, birth of origin. Okay? Hindi mo pwede sabihin na pumunta ka sa Pilipinas at ipinanganak mo ang Pilipinas. Pumunta ka sa Pilipinas at dumating ang iyong ancestor. Eden means the living soul of Filipino was came from the dust of the ground, and he become living soul from the breath of life of God. That's the translation of Eden. And the reference of Eden has been taken by Dr. Rizal from the Bible or from the Hebrew scripture in chapter 2, verse 7 and 8. There is no reference that the phrase Eden can be traced back from the Chinese literature of ancient time. There is no other book which you could find the phrase Eden referring to Chinese uh, travel history. Okay, the phrase Eden has no travel history with Mr. Keyinan. Eden means the dust of the ground of our motherland has been created date back from God's creation. That's the most uh, nearest interpretation of the first line 1 and 2 of paragraph 1 and 13. You cannot separate the paragraph 1 and 13. Okay, so that is why we call it interlocking uh, paragraph of the Mi Ultimo Diyos. You cannot separate any one of them. Uh, Magkaparis lagi siya. Okay? So, kung magkaparis siya, okay, meaning that Dr. Rizal is talking about the independence of one nation with its own sovereignty. Okay? So, may sariling sovereignty ang Pilipinas. Your atmosphere, your space, and valleys across. So, it's talking about only for Pilipinas. Okay? It's not talking about arrival of Chinese, but it's talking about the sovereignty of one nation. It's talking about independence of his beloved country. Okay. So he's not talking about independence of Chinese blood on 1896, He fought for our country or for our motherland or for our uh, patrimony. Okay. Patrimony means our home and country. Okay. Eden means motherland. It means he's talking about the Philippines is our beloved country. This is our motherland. Okay, so it's not talking about the land of Chinese or the blood of Chinese in the sea. He's talking about the Filipino motherland at the sea. Okay, okay. When we talk about the sea, this is a very large, vast area of the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, as well as the Arctic in Antarctic, or the whole face of the Earth hemisphere in the east, no? Ang sinasabi niya ay yung mukha ng daigdig, ano? Na yung isang mukha ng daigdig, yung karagatang nandyan, iyan ang tinatawag niyang silanganan. Okay? At yung silanganan, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin balat yan ng inchik. May bansa siya na nasa balat ng inchik, hindi po pwedeng ganon. May bansa siya na nasa dugo ng inchik, yan ay hindi totoo. Okay? So Dr. Rizal is speaking about he has one nation, no, in the Eastern Hemisphere, okay, and that nation can be found at the sea, okay. My nation is like a pearl. It can be seen from above because the region of the sun is above the sky. Okay, okay. See why above the sky? Okay, there is another answer for that. Okay, here. Okay, I'll explain to you. Okay, above the sky. This is what Dr. Sirius is trying to explain to us. The Philippines can be seen above the sky because he died under the sky. Okay, under the sky of whom? Of our lost Eden. Okay, not the lost sky of the lost ancestors of Chinese. He's telling us that in the enchanted land of our lost Eden, okay, I die under her sky. Okay, you cannot translate that Eden is referring to Chinese ancestor because Eden ha- has has a feminine gender of our motherland. Okay, motherland means our home and country. Okay, so it's not singing to Chinese ancestor. He's singing to our country. In that country is he is singing a song is only for beloved Filipinos. Means his parents doesn't depart. Okay, his loved ones doesn't depart from his nationality or patrimony. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na pwede mong i-transfer yung nationality ni Dr. Si Rizal galing sa China. Okay? Because the Philippines or our motherland has no travel history with any Chinese ancestors. It can be found from above. You can, if you are above the sky of the Milky Way galaxy, you can see the region of the sun, not inside a Chinese garden, or you cannot see the region of the sun inside the Chinese blood. Okay, he is telling us that our nation can be seen at the region of the sun. Okay, under the sky of one uh, nation. Okay, beneath the atmosphere, the Philippines has space. It has sovereignty. It has valleys. Okay, so he's talking about our Eden. The Eden is our motherland. It has atmosphere, it has a space, it has valleys. This is what we call sovereignty of our motherland. Okay? And inside the sovereignty of our motherland, there is one immigrant. When we say sweet foreigner, this is an immigrant. So how can uh, our lost Eden become immigrant? How our motherland become immigrant? Okay, Mr. Keenan is an immigrant. So how can our country or our Eden become immigrant in the sea. Okay, Dr. Osiris is telling us that our Eden or our motherland has been made by God, okay, at the region of the sun, beneath the atmosphere, under the sky of heavenly space or of the space of time. Because when we talk about region of the sun, we are speaking about uh, the space of time. So what Dr. Sirisal is trying to explain to us is that we have our home and country. In this is our motherland. And our motherland is the birth of origin of our living soul from the dust of the ground. Okay? In this country is not calling any Chinese ancestry or any Chinese immigrant. Our country is calling our God. Okay? Why our country is going to call our God? Okay? Instead of calling the foreigner. So instead of calling the Chinese immigrant, why the Philippines is going to call our God? Okay, so Dr. Sirchel is telling us that our beloved Filipinos is going to pray to God. So it is impossible for everyone to tell us that Jose Rizal is God or the ancestors of Jose Rizal is God. See, when he put our country be placed under the rule of God. Okay, so those who Chinese witchcraft historian is trying to kill the meaning of the last will of Dr. Rizal in order to uh, fabricate new literature for Chinese uh, claim that the founding father of the Philippines was the blood of Chinese. You see, so Dr. Rizal is explaining to us that our country, the Philippines, our motherland, okay, the home of our living soul, okay, is not a human being. It's like a pearl. It's like a jewel without a stain of shame. Why Dr. Sirichal is telling us that our land, okay, our motherland is without a stain of shame because this is a land created by God, okay? If this land is created by God from the very beginning, how can you tell us that this is a place of sinful uh, human being? It's a place of God. It's a sinless place of God. So when the foreigner, which is not sweet, so what is the meaning of a foreigner which is not sweet? Yung mga dayuhan na bastos, okay? Yung mga dayuhang tanga at yung idiot na nagsasabi na yung Diyos natin ay tanga, ay yung ancestors niya ay ang tanga. Oh, kasi ang sinasabi ni Dr. Cyril dito, okay, is that he lived, he entrusted his parents and his beloved uh, countrymen to a nation, to a country where faith does not kill. So he never leave his parents and loved ones and his beloved country to any Chinese ancestors because his true parents and his true countrymen, which he loved, are those people with only one nationality and birth of origin, with only one motherland, which he described came from only one nation, okay, that he called Eden. Eden means the birthplace of our living soul from our motherland. Okay, he left his parents, his countrymen being beloved to him. He left one foreigner being beloved to him from one nation or from one motherland. Okay, he left his parents and loved one with one patrimony not came from Chinese ancestry, okay, but from our motherland. Okay, so he never idolized foreigner or immigrants because the Philippines is not an immigrant. It's not a stranger in the sea. Okay, explain to us that the Philippines was not did not arrive from China. Okay, it's like a pearl. The pearl doesn't have travel history because it was our motherland. Motherland never traveled through space of time because motherland can be seen only at the sea, above the sky, at the region of the sun in the east. Okay, this is the east. This is the sea. Okay, this is the eastern hemisphere. It's telling us the Philippines can be seen from above under the sky at the eastern hemisphere of the region of the sun. So the region of the sun is here. Okay, the region of the sun is here. Okay, so Dr. Rizal is talking to us and explaining to us that the Earth, this planet, can be seen somewhere in the space of time. Okay, towards the sun is the region of the sun during the morning. Okay, so if this is the galactic longitude 0 degrees, this is December morning. This is December evening. Okay, so which means that if the Philippines can be seen in this direction towards the center of the Milky Way galaxy, this can be seen as December. Okay, if the Philippines is in the other side of the region of the sun facing the center of the Milky Way galaxy, then this is evening time of December. If the Earth is facing or the Philippines is facing towards the sun, this is the morning time of December. And this is the date from where, at the space of time, Dr. Rizal has been murdered in the Philippines on 1896. He's not talking about the ancestors of Chinese. Is in the region of the sun. Okay, here is uh, June, evening time. June, morning time. Okay, this is okay September, morning time. Okay, okay. So this is September, evening time. This is this center of our solar system. This is the sun. When the Earth is facing towards the sun, when the Earth's oriental zone or eastern hemisphere is facing the sun, of course, this face of the Earth is illuminated by brilliance of the light or by the energy of the sun, of the sunlight towards the Philippines. Okay, so when the Earth is facing at the opposite side of the sun towards the darkness in evening time, and that is evening of September. Okay, here, if the Philippines is looking towards the sun, that is March morning time, and this is March evening time. So, Dr. Rizal is telling us that the Philippines is in the heavenly space of time, and this is what we can explain in paragraph 3. I die when I see the sky. So, this is the sky as unfloured its color. So, this color of the sky cannot be changed. His wisdom cannot be changed. The meaning of what he is telling us from his knowledge cannot be changed because it is interlocked in the heavenly creation of our God. The history of the Philippines cannot be changed. It cannot be diverted even in the time and the space of time. You cannot reverse the space of time, the direction of the space of time. You cannot rotate the earth from uh, west to east, which means the earth is rotating only from east to west direction. Okay, the earth is moving towards the western direction. Okay, so Dr. Rizal is telling us we have one nation in the east. Okay, so this means that you cannot tell the history of Dr. Rizal or the history of the Philippines or the birth of origin of our motherland cannot be seen towards the northwest. There is no Eden. There is no beloved country that can be seen in the northwest. Because when you speak about northwest, you're telling us that your reference of locating your country, okay, is using the north and south polar uh, reference. You when you make a merchant travel, you are using the north and south polar region of the earth as reference of your uh, voyage. No, Dr. Cecil is not talking about voyage of Chinese ancestors coming from the northwest. Okay, this is the northwest direction. Okay, of Chinese going to the south. So you cannot say that the motherland, uh, or the sea or the region of the sun travel with Chinese immigrant from northwest, because he's talking about the region of the sun. And this is what we can see in the Department of Foreign Affairs emblem of our national flag. The circular pattern around the flag of the Philippines, to where the sun is in the middle of the circular pattern of our flag, that describes exactly what Dr. Rizal is saying, that our nation can be seen 365 days a year in the region of the sun, which means in the specific parts of the region of the sun, you can see our nation not in the blood of Chinese ancestors, but along the orbital path of our planet, no, in the center, from the center of the solar system. Okay, so it's not talking about there is family of Chinese moving around the region of the sun in triangular pattern. Okay, so our flag has been mutilated by the false interpretation that the region of the sun is triangle. There is no such region of the sun. Speaking about Philippines, that is moving around the triangle pattern. Dahil itong, because Mr. Emilio Aguinaldo is creating a fake flag for the Philippines, a flag that can be reversed upside down, is wrong. Okay, the wrong, the mistake of Mr. Fujian Chinese Emilio Aguinaldo is that the region of the sun, instead of triangle, must be written as a circular or elliptical pattern in the flag. This must be like this. Okay, yeah, and there is a sun in the center, and then Luzon, Visayas, in Mindanao. Okay, so we have to erase this one. The triangle must be erased, and this is correct. Red must be the blood of our ancestor. It can be uh, described. Okay, this must be red. That is correct, because it explains about Eden or land. The land, okay, must not over the ocean. Okay, this blue must be the Sea of the Orient. Okay, the Sea of the Orient. This is our blood, or the motherland, a symbol of our blood, or the symbol of our nation, the symbol of our uh, ancestor. Red, okay, and white is of course the background of the region of the sun. So this must be correct. Okay, this must be white. So we have to remove the green inside. Okay, so this is wrong. Something like that. Here is the uh, white here inside. This is white. This means brightness of the sun in the morning, and we can see it here, maybe gilded by a reflection of the heavenly born light. So here is the sun, the same sun that we have in the present plug, but the rays must be 12, not 8, because it represents 12 months. Our nation can be seen in the space of time of the Milky Way galaxy. Here is the sun, okay, but with 12 rays, okay, and we have star, okay. So it depends on how you will explain the star. Yeah, the same star that we have, three for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. So in other words, I can show it to you like this. Okay, ganito po ang plug natin. Okay, yung sinasabi natin na region of the sun na ipinaliliwanag natin kanina. Okay, ayan po ano, itong bilog na to na itim. Ito po yan region of the sun. Okay, so yung Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, ito yan ay nagre-represent ng ang Pilipinas ay nasa rehiyon ng araw. Yung Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao nasa rehiyon ng araw. Pero yung sun rays natin, nagre-represent yan ng ilang araw ka o ilang buwan ka sa space of time habang ang Pilipinas ay nasa rehiyon ng araw. So, hindi mo pwedeng gawing triangle yan. Si Kayenan, si Limahong, at si Mao Zedong, yung makikita mo dito sa rehiyon ng araw, yung ancestors ng China. Ang makikita mo doon ay yung motherland. Okay, isa lamang. At yung isa lamang yun na lugar, yung sinasabing enchanted land, ay isang bansa lang, isang motherland. So, papaanong itong Eden ipagbubuntis ng inchik? Ano? So, itong mga Chinese immigrant, pinipiki ang history natin mula pa noong June 12, 1898. Ito ang tamang representation ng flag natin. Okay? So, hindi mo yan pwedeng baliktarin na yung pula, yung lupa ay nasa itaas ng langit. Okay? Ito yung langit. Okay? Sa itaas ng kalangitan, makikita mo daw ang Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Yan ang meaning nito. Okay? And then, ang Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao ay nasa karagatan ng silanganan. Okay? So, ito yung karagatan ng silanganan, yung blue, yan. At yung Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, yung kanyang lupain o yung motherland niya, hindi pwedeng yun ang nasa ibabaw ng langit. Okay? Yun ay nasa silangan. So, tubig, yung tubig sa silanganan, kaya itong pulang ito ay nasa silanganan. This is the east. Okay? Nasa katubigan sa silanganan. Okay? Ayan yung Sea of the Orient. Okay? The Eden, yung pula, ito, Eden, or blood of our ancestor, or human flesh, from where uh, our living soul become uh, image of God at the dust of the ground. Kasi ang meaning ng Eden is blood and flesh. Okay? Or a human soul created from the breath of life of God from the dust of the ground. Because God formed our human soul or human body from the dust of our motherland. Okay? So our motherland is can be found in the east. This is the east. Okay? Walang sinasabi si Dr. Lucy Rizal that our sea can be found in the Chinese blood. Okay? Our motherland, our beloved country, is one nation, which is our home, can be seen at the sea of the Orient. This is the Orient. Okay, this is the sea, this is the Orient, this is our land. Okay, and this land and sea of Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao can be seen 365 days a year, 12 months or 12 rays at the region of the sun and the space of time. So the region of the sun, okay, is the black orbital path of the face of the earth. Okay, this is the face of the earth. This line here is the horizon. Okay, okay, this is the horizon. Okay, this is the surface of our land. This is the surface of our land. This is the surface of the water from east to west. Okay, so yun yung terrestrial uh, geography of both the sea and our motherland. Okay, and this white is the atmosphere from where Luzon is besides Mindanao can be seen from above. Yun po ang explanation dyan. So itong gumawa ng Peking history noong 1896 ay itong si Emilio Aguinaldo. Peking plug din ang ginawa nila. At yan ay lahat yan ninakaw lang ni Emilio Aguinaldo, ano, unang Chinese ancestry dito sa last will ni Dr. Jose Rizal. Ang ginawa nila, what they made is that they uh, retranslated the praised beloved country into a friendly state or magiliw na bayan. So they uh, call us, they called our nation, they called the Philippines as uh, magiliw na bayan o bayang magiliw na kung i-translate natin sa English is uh, friendly state, okay, of Chinese nation. Okay, so this is what they translated into our national anthem. Instead of saying beloved country, uh, they call it uh, friendly state of one nation, of one country. So the country is China, the Philippines is state. This is wrong translation of the last will, which means the flag, the national anthem is is a wrong misinterpretation of the last will of Dr. Jose Rizal in order to uh, divert the history of the Philippine Revolution as the revolution of Chinese ancestors. Okay? The Philippine Revolution on 1896 is not ethnic Chinese revolution. It's a Philippine revolution. It's our motherland revolution. We don't like uh, the Filipino to become slaves. We don't want uh, hangmen. We don't want oppressor to stay in our country because our nation, our motherland, no, is a place where faith does not kill. Okay, so you can't accuse that Dr. Sirisal and other uh, historical figure of Chinese ancestry in the Philippines has been murdered by Filipino or all visitor has been murdered by God. So what the Chinese is trying to kill is our God, our nation, and the parents of Dr. Rizal, and the 6 million Filipino populations of the Philippines on year 1896. Okay, because they want the Qing dynasty, the population of China, as the origin of the motherland of Philippines, which is impossible because Dr. Rizal is not talking about that his ancestors can be seen from above or can be seen from the northwest. He's telling us that the Philippines can be seen from above under the sky beneath the atmosphere of space and valleys. No, we can see the Philippines as our motherland, from where our home can be seen at the sea of the Orient, of the East. Okay, so the Chinese witchcraft historians is trying to kill the Philippine history in order to replace the Philippine Revolution in 1896 as Chinese ancestry revolution from China. And that is what Marcos is telling us about. You have to attack the culture of the Philippines, okay, and make Chinese ancestors as victims, or Chinese children or Chinese immigrants as victim in the Philippines of atrocities. So this is why China is trying to pretend to become a martyr while stealing the sovereignty of our God. Okay, so it's all about the sovereignty of our God over our living soul. If we try to understand what we call a lost Eden, okay, Eden must be a nation. It's a motherland of our living soul, from where our ancestors lived for many, many years since the time of uh, birth of our human soul. Okay, so that's for the time being. Okay, that is our explanation to correct the uh, falsification of our Philippine Revolution, our Philippine history, our dignity, our human soul. This cannot be changed by the blood of Chinese. No, so the history of the Philippines is not about travel history of the blood of Chinese ancestors. It's a history of the birth of origin of our nation. Okay, the birth of origin of our motherland can be seen from above. No, it was created by God at the sea of the east. No, from the beginning of time. Eden means the beginning of time, from where the earth has been made by God somewhere else in the cosmos and the Milky Way galaxy in our solar system. That's the explanation of the last will of Dr. Rizal. It's nothing about uh, Chinese immigrant, no? Okay, Dr. Rizal is talking not for Chinese immigrant, but for a foreigner which is sweet to our nation, a foreigner which is sweet to our motherland. So, which foreigner are not sweet? Of course, the foreigner who are turning God as slave of their Chinese parents. Okay, those foreigners who are not sweet are murderer. No, they don't care about God. They call our God as idiot and compare himself as Dr. Sirizal while murdering Filipino. Okay, who are sweet foreigner? Those who are not oppressor. They never oppressed our motherland. They never invaded our motherland. They shall respect our motherland because our motherland, no, is a place where faith does not kill. It's a place where God reigns. You never, you cannot uh, be greater than God. No, a true Filipino parents, a true Filipino countryman, no, never idolize their ancestors greater than God. Okay, they never idolize their own selves greater than his home and country, because our home and country is from where our living soul has been made by God. This is a place where our breath of life has been created by God. So our nation is not uh, slave to one person. Okay, so you could not make a Chinese dynasty in the Philippines. You could not make a Filipino dynasty over the Philippines because God is the one who reigns. Okay, that is the full explanation of the last will of Dr. Rizal. Cannot be a Chinese poem for Chinese invasion of the Philippines. Okay, because here Dr. Rizal is telling us to pray to God. His parents, his loves, is one component of one motherland. In that whole motherland of our living soul is to call not the Chinese ancestor, but to call God. Why the Filipino is going to call God? Because according to Rizal, the Philippines uh, must be saved, okay, by God. Okay, they say, pray for final redemption. No, this paragraph 8 in paragraph 9. So is Dr. Sirius is telling us the Philippines must be redeemed by God, must be saved by God. It can be seen, it can be read in line 5 of paragraph 9. So here we need to pray, for the salvation of God. Line 5 of paragraph 9, pray for final redemption you will see, because it's God through our prayer, through the prayer of our motherland, you know, which include your parents, our ancestors, and our countrymen who idolize our nation, must pray to God. It means that you can't accuse that the Philippines was once a martyrdom place of Chinese ancestry because they fought for the independence of Chinese blood. Okay, so it is wrong to view General Yefe or Mr. Sixto Mercado Chonco as the same of Rizal, as the same of Aquino. Aquino is a friend of General Yefe, and General Yefe has been proclaimed by Duterte as a youth of China being born in the Philippines to fought for independence of China and independence of the sea, independence of the region of the sun for Chinese claim that the sovereignty of Chinese extend over the region of the sun. So what the Fujian are worth lying for. So Aquino and Duterte are the same Fujian Chinese, and they are the same included in the list of Chinese Filipino. So this means that the Federation of Chinese Chamber of Commerce are behind the destruction of the Philippine history and are behind of the invasion of Chinese in our land. Okay, Jose Season can be considered as terrorist and invader because he is killing our soldiers, our military, uh, our dignity. No, he's a mother, but he is a professor on racial study. Okay, a professor on racial study must understand the line 3 to 5 of paragraph 1 that you cannot take life, you cannot steal lives of Filipino. Okay, if you are Filipino, you have to surrender your life to our motherland, because motherland means it is place where our life has been raised by God, and you have to return that life to our motherland. Okay, you cannot take away life from our motherland. Motherland means sorrow of my sorrow, sorrow of your sorrow, a place of your living soul, the birth of origin of your living soul. So Chinese is mothering the Filipino inside their motherland, which is prohibited to be uh, committed. You are criminal if you commit uh, murdering of Filipino, because Dr. Rizal is not a murderer. He was not even murdered by our motherland. He instead say to die to give my motherland's my life. So he gave life for his motherland, and that's the reason why he died. And this is what he says: the Philippines is not a martyrdom place of Chinese ancestors, because this is a place from where every citizens of the Philippines, every parents of the Filipino with nationality of Filipino, it's a place from where all Filipino defended our nation to give their lives. And the Philippines is a resting place of every Filipino, not Chinese, because the Filipino is not considered as a slave. They are not hangmen. They are not oppressor. So when Chinese is trying to reverse the history of the Philippine Revolution, they want to feel that they are the one those who are crying for help. A Chinese who came in the Philippines are trying to explain to the world that when they came to the Philippines, they become a victim, they become a martyr, they become a lamb, which is unfounded. No, when Chinese become immigrant in the Philippines, they remain immigrant. They are not able, they are not qualified to steal our identity. No, because Dr. Sirisa is not talking about Chinese immigrant. He's talking about the Eden, or our motherland is not immigrant from China. Eden means a nation, a motherland, the patrimony from where God created our living soul from the dust of the ground that we can see from above the sky. Dr. Rizal is talking about 7,641 islands, and not the history of the 22 generations of Kayenan, the godfather of the Fujian Mafia, and the ancestors of all Chinese witchcraft historians all over the world. The godfather of League of Fujian Filipino Student, LFS. Okay, the deceiver of the youth of the Filipino people. Okay, that's all.